This is FE Peer Review. The date is April the 19th, 2021. Horizon placement in photos. I'm doing this quick video in response to an exchange of comments I had with another person by the name of I Am Prosperity. We were commenting both on Conspiracy Cat's, Baldy Cat's recent video and this image from that video of Blackpool. I had said, written, brilliant video, cats, etc. I Am Prosperity responded with, the camera is centered at the sky. Cats hasn't proved anything, only how much of Globetard he is, because he doesn't understand the optics of how a camera works. He has used sleight of hand to prove his unprovable cartoon globe theory. Now, I'm assuming this is the image the guy is referring to, and he's saying centered on the sky because the center of the picture is up in here and the horizon is down quite low in the frame. I responded, I'm not sure I entirely understand your comment, but I'm guessing you mean that if the camera is tilted, in other words, if the horizon is not in the middle of the image, then you have problems with it. Wolfie and others have made videos showing that camera tilt does nothing to change the relative positions of objects in the image. It's basic. You can easily test it yourself. Just stand in a fixed position and take several photos of a scene with a nice clear horizon, tilting the camera at various angles. You will see that it doesn't alter the way objects relate to each other in the image. If I understood you correctly, and this is what you're referring to, then I encourage you to do the test for yourself. In fact, this would make a good subject for a video. I will do one this afternoon as well. Then you and I can compare results. If I misunderstood your comment, please accept my apology and have the goodwill to explain it again in another way so I can understand. Thanks. Edit. I provided a link to this point in the video. I take it this is the photo you're referring to, the horizon, with the horizon up about a quarter from the bottom of the image. I will make sure to get that in the photos I take. I'll put the horizon at 1/4, 1/2, and 3/4, and I'll do one tilted sideways as well. We will see if it makes any difference. So I did that, took a walk this afternoon, and took some pictures. And we'll do a little slideshow here. So the very first picture I'm showing here is just to show my setup. I have very basic equipment. My digital camera is like 15 years old, and I have a little Instamatic pocket thing that I keep as well. So I took a picture of my setup with my little pocket camera, and you can see my main camera's on the tripod over here. And let's go to the next one. There it is, showing the way that it can be tilted. I just wanted to show this is tilted down. That's tilted up. And it also has a little leveling device, a bubble, which I often forget to use, but today I made a point of using it. I was trying to be careful. Now let's look at and compare some images. So I've brought up two slides side by side, and we're actually looking at the same image right now in both slides. And I have placed the horizon at the center of the frame. And what I'm going to do is on the left image, I'm going to cycle through, and then we can keep the right image as it is in order to have the comparison. So here my camera also has a zoom lens on it. A telephoto lens. I don't remember the numbers at the moment. It's also a dirty lens, so you're going to see some dirt in these pictures. 18 to 55 millimeters. So we're looking at the 18 millimeter right now, or rather the 55. We're zoomed in to 55, and we're going to zoom out to 18. The position of the camera is exactly the same. I've done nothing with the setup except activate the zoom of the lens, so I have pulled back. And if you look at key markers, like for example on the picture on the right, we have this triangle road sign here, and the upper tip of that triangle is aligned with the beach. Then there's a light post, electrical post behind it, and the top of that electrical post is just below the horizon, right on the spit of land that goes out. There's another post to the left towards the center of the frame, comes up and touches the land. We have these two roof corners here. So there's a number of good reference points. And if we look at the picture on the left, we will see that they are all in exactly the same positions as the picture on the right. So I did this just to demonstrate, first of all, that the zoom of the lens makes no difference in changing the locations of objects. Okay, let's continue on. Now I've moved the horizon down to the bottom quarter of the frame. And again, you're using those same reference points. You can see that nothing has changed. You can also see the dirt a whole lot better. Now I will zoom out with the horizon at the bottom quarter. And again, nothing has changed. Now I'm going to move up to horizon at the top quarter, or the 3/4 from the bottom, and here's the top. Again, nothing has changed. What can I say? They're all exactly the same positions relative to each other. And that's zoomed out with the horizon at 3/4. And then I was getting ready to pack up and go, and I realized I had forgotten to do some tilted pictures. So I stopped and did a few tilted pictures, and apparently in doing the tilted pictures, I must have moved my position just a little bit. I think I must have taken a couple of steps back, because, and this I'm kind of glad I did, because it's a nice demonstration of what happens there when you actually change the camera location rather than just tilting the camera. So if you look at the picture on the left, tilted, you'll see that the closest object to me, the closest referenced object, which was this triangular sign, has dropped. It's now a little bit below the beach compared to the picture on the right. But the farther away the reference objects, the less you see an effect from my having taken a couple steps back. In fact, you don't really see it on any of the others because they're quite a bit farther away. So it was an inadvertent, but I think useful lesson that yes, changing the camera position does change the way the various objects appear in the frame related to each other, but it affects the ones most close to you dramatically, and the ones most distant are very minor. Now, I'm not going to dwell on that anymore in this video. That's really subject for a different video, but since I had this opportunity, I thought I'd mention it. So I tilted the camera, I kept the center, I kept the horizon at the crossing the center of the frame, but tilted it both ways. Oh, and up at the 3/4 frame, bottom 3/4 frame, tilted it the other way. And if you, I'm just going to go through these quickly. You know, you can pause the video if you want to look at them more closely. Now we want to move on to the second set of images, which are, I did 3 sets of images, 3 different locations. There. So now we've got our image, our reference image again on the right, and the one we're going to change on the left here. So this one is kind of nice. I've got the horizon passing right through the base of these chimneys here. We've got a tree over here. We've got some good reference. This chimney is exactly aligned with the top of the horizon. And now we will cycle through the images on the left. So we've got horizon mid-frame zoomed in, mid-frame zoomed out. There's the horizon line. Chimney lines up, base of the chimney lines up. Now I've got the horizon at 3/4, everything aligns the same, zoomed out. Horizon at 1/4, everything aligns the same, and zoomed out. Everything aligns. And then a few tilted, everything aligns. This time I remembered to keep my setup, so I didn't move when I did the tilt. Lower quarter, tilted the other way, centered, tilted the other way, 3/4, tilted the other way, 1/4. So that was the second set of images. And we will, oh, that was just me having a bit of fun. Such a beautiful, beautiful place I'm so lucky to live in. Now we'll go on to the last set of images. Here's the last set of images. We've got this house on the coast here, and the ridge line of the house, the ridge of the roof, is right on the horizon line. I've got a few other things to refer to. There's some rocks coming off in the distance, about, I don't know, maybe halfway between the house and the distant horizon. And on the left, there's a piece of the beach coming around and some rocks touching the bottom of the chimney. The top of this chimney has a little capping stone that projects out, and you can see that that's above the hills in the distance. So again, the two photos we see here are exactly the same photo there, and what I'm going to do is cycle through the other photos and compare to the one on the right. So here I've zoomed out, and we see the capping stone is still above the hillside. The beach comes in at the base of the chimney. The rocks in the horizon on the right of the house meet the chimney at the same location. We could even note that the bush here across the front is below the window and on the same on the other photo, so even the closer things are the same. Here I've pushed the horizon up to the 3/4 line, and again nothing has changed in terms of these same relationships, the chimney cap, the rocks coming out to the base of the chimney. Zoomed out at 3/4, zoomed in at 1/4, zoomed out at 3/4. They're all the same. You want to pause the video and take a look at them, you can. I'm going to go ahead and touch on one other point. My camera has a telephoto lens that goes from 18 millimeters to 55 millimeters. 55 is roughly middle of the range in terms of what's typical on 35 millimeter digital cameras. It approximates the cone of vision that is normal for a person. So 18 is quite a wide angle. And if you're using it for like an interior photo, you'll see some perspective distortion around the edges. At least with my lens. More expensive lenses are better. So what I have in these two photos is, on the left I have a photo taken with the 18 millimeter, and on the right at the 55 millimeter. But the actual camera location is the same in both photos, so I'm just zooming in on the right. And what we can see is that, again, like in the others, the relationship of the objects does not change just because I'm zooming from one location. If we look at the little branches on this tree coming out here, where they meet the rocks here, for example, or this branch where it meets the horizon. And if we look at the photo on the right, we see the same branch and the rocks and the same branch and the horizon. So what I did after taking these two photos was I walked to about this edge of the grass right here, and I took another photo in the same direction, again using the wide angle feature. So I was getting approximately the same amount of stuff in the frame. I've got the tree on the right, I've got the tree on the right, and then I've got the other tree on the left and the bush on the left. But the photo on the left is with the 18 millimeter lens setting, and the photo on the right is with the 55 millimeter setting. So what's different between these two pictures now is that I have moved. I'm seeing approximately the same amount of the view, but I have moved forward into the view in the picture on the left. And in moving, the relationship of the objects to each other has changed. So now these lower branches of the tree are up above the horizon. They're not down here by the rocks, and we can compare that to the photo on the right where the lower branch is down by the rocks. So this is the difference between using the zoom feature of the lens and physically moving into the frame. I just wanted to mention that as well because it's kind of fits with the general topic. So that's it. This video was inspired by this little comment from I Am Prosperity. I know other people have done better videos than this on the subject. I know that there was one by Wolfie where he showed using moving images, video images rather than still images, and that was very good, but I couldn't find it when I went to Wolfie's channel. If any of you guys have other people's videos that you think are relevant, drop links in the comments. I'm all for having links in the comments. I have no problem with that. So please, if you do happen to come across those, link them here, and then we can refer people to this when that same point comes up, because it seems to come up again and again. Where you place the horizon in the frame has no effect on the relative locations of the objects to each other. That concludes FE Peer Review for today. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and all of that. I I welcome more subscribers, but I'm not on a big kick to get them. I just like to share my message. So, and you feel free to share it as well. If you do share this stuff or want to mirror it or anything, just drop me a note and let me know. Consider that I have already approved it, but just let me know. Thanks. Bye-bye.